What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be ranking all 8 episodes from Season 1 of The Mandalorian, as Season 2 is about to come back on Friday. Can't wait for that. But I'm joined by my friend, Trevor from Film Geeks, who hasn't been on like a collab in so long. We do live streams every week. This feels weird. It's something we haven't done in so long. How you doing, man?
Yeah, dude, it's good to be back Skyping, doing these kind of
Yeah.
weird cross-country collabs, but it's good to be back, bro. The Mandalorian, I'm so hyped. I watched it, just finished it a couple weeks ago, so I'm very excited for season 2. Very excited to talk about these episodes, man.
So yeah, the way we're going to do this is we're each going to take turns going through our 8 all the way to number 1. And I guess I'll go ahead and kick this thing off. So coming in at number 8 for me is going to be Chapter 5, The Gunslinger. Now, is that also your number 8?
That's mine as well. Yes,
All right,
sir.
we can go ahead and talk about this together then.
Cool.
It's like the least memorable episode to me, and the guy that the Mandalorian is with is so whiny and just complains the whole time. I never really cared about him, and it's essentially a throwaway episode. The best part about it is there's 2 feet that walk up at the very end, the final shot of the episode.
Sure.
Many people have speculated that's teasing Boba Fett, and I hope that's true.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head in the beginning. This is the least memorable episode. I was asking you before, it's like, what episode is that? You're trying to explain it to me, and I'm like, yeah, that's over my head. So definitely an episode that's not memorable at all.
Coming in at number 7 for me is going to be Chapter 4, Sanctuary. It's a fine episode. It very much harkened back to like the Seven Samurai Magnificent Seven storylines, where a group of people has to kind of protect a village, and that's exactly what this episode was. For what it is, it's entertaining. It gave us the really cute gif of Baby Yoda with the little cup. That's what the episode this comes from, so can't really fault it there. But 4 and 5, and even some would argue 6, are throwaway episodes.
Sure.
It's still entertaining. It's still The Mandalorian. Just a little side adventure that doesn't really bring much to the overall arc of the season.
My number 7 is going to be episode 6, The Prisoner.
Wow.
Yeah, not for me, man. This episode, just everyone like loved it. Everyone raved about it, but like something about it just felt kind of throwaway because we never saw these characters again. The objective of it felt so like just like a side story that was kind of needed to be in there, but didn't really need to be in there and didn't really get us any further along in the story. Yes, it has its awesome moments, lots of great action in there, but nothing that really like got me to think like, what's this doing to progress the overall mission, the overall goal of the first season? And I felt that episode was in there. I was honestly kind of just completely confused. Yes, the Mandalorian's badass, but other than that, why is this episode in there? That's kind of my thought process.
Number 6 for me is going to be Chapter 2, The Child. Yeah, I know. Ooh. It's kind of crazy. This one's a little lower, but you get way more of the child / Baby Yoda in this one. There's a really cool action scene involving, like, I forget what they're called, but the Jawas on Tatooine have them. Those huge ships that you see in A New Hope are there. And then, of course, you get, like, this hunt for an egg looking thing, and there's like this big beast looking thing. There's some cool action scenes there. You get to see the child use the Force for the first time, I want to say. I could be wrong, but I think it's the first time he uses the Force.
I'm pretty sure you're right,
in this episode. And I think Queel is also more of a prominent role in this one.
Yeah.
He's a really great character in this episode. So overall, solid, not a lot of complaints.
At number 6 for me is going to be episode 4, The Sanctuary. I love what Bryce Dallas Howard did with this episode. I think she's directing maybe a couple episodes in season 2. And Bryce Dallas Howard just did a really great job of like crafting its action, crafting a story we've seen so many times before, putting a little unique flair on it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I really do enjoy episode 4 quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm glad you like that one more than I do. I know that's a lot of people's least favorite, actually, is episode 4. It's shocking.
Really?
But
that's
yeah,
really
it is
crazy.
But getting into the top 5 here, coming in at number 5 for me is Chapter 1, The Mandalorian, the first episode of the show. I'll say off the bat, it is a great, great start to this show. Really just lays the groundwork for we are returning to the original Star Wars that everyone knows and loves. It's just established from the start when he enters the cantina and he starts kicking people's asses that he is here to stay. And I love the score by Ludwig Göransson. I believe Dave Filoni directed this first episode. I could be wrong. He did. Yep. Yeah. And Favreau, of course, establishes himself as just a great writer in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. Most iconic shot, arguably, from the show so far happens when the Mandalorian reaches out to what we see. We think it's like, oh my goodness, we don't know what it is. Is that Yoda? Is that Baby Yoda? Whatever.
Yeah.
He reaches out his finger and then it cuts. Such a great episode.
At number 5 for me is going to be The Child, episode 2. It's kind of hard talking about it. You basically hit all the notes I was going to say already, but when the child like just Force is that beast, it just gives you like all the hope, like, oh my goodness, are we going to get Jedi in the show? What's going to happen in this new Star Wars Disney Plus universe? That scene alone to me was just, it was so awesome. It was so badass. And like this little guy right here, he came to play, bro. I
Adorable.
can't. Adorable, exactly. Yeah.
Coming in at number 4 for me is going to be Chapter 6, The Prisoner. I do like this one a lot more than you based on what you said. I
Yeah.
love Bill Burr, so seeing him in this was just so sweet. And I liked
Sure.
how it was like a mission. It reminded me of a Clone Wars episode. I can't pinpoint which one, but it really did. The Mandalorian just kind of trying to break out and then having to almost pick off these people one by one. And then, of course, at the very end, they're all trapped on the ship. And I already know they're going to show up at some point. If it's not season 2, it's season 3 or 4. But I like how it kind of established that he's got ties with someone out there in the galaxy that could come back and maybe help him or be a threat to him later on. And I think that
Sure.
it was the last like one-off episode before the last 2, which really tied the season together.
I feel like those guys are gonna come back. It's gonna come back to haunt him, the prisoners. You know, like he
Fair,
left on
yeah.
that ship. I think that could come into play, or there's completely forgotten and it was a complete throwaway episode.
Yeah.
But I digress. At number 4 for me is episode 7, The Reckoning. And this one, it was the build up for the season finale, and like the end of the episode is what always kind of got me when like Quill dies. He's gone, and he's my favorite character of the first season. Most people's favorite character. Nick Nolte voiced this little creature to perfection. So to see Quill, someone just try and do good, help out, even though he's kind of retired, came out of retirement to help, and he got killed in the end. I'm hoping he's not dead, hopefully, but I don't think that's likely. Quill's gone, and that's that episode. When it ended, I wanted more. I was just blown away. My jaw was dropped to the floor. It was really, really, really sad.
Coming in at number 3 for me is Chapter 3, The Sin. The first fantastic episode of this show, I think. The first 2 episodes are really good, but this one upped the ante when it comes to action. There's a sequence in this episode where it's dark, and it just really built the suspense, but then the final act where all the Mandalorians come out and they have their jetpacks. Such great action, and it just really got me hyped for what would come later with the action set pieces in this show and just the great storytelling. I love this episode.
Number 3 for me is episode 1, The Mandalorian. That gave me the Star Wars vibe just from the transition alone, just like the wipe transitions, you know, like that's felt like Star Wars. Like you said, the score for the show is great. Getting to know the Mandalorian is amazing, and we get introduced to this guy. I mean, I googled it. I'm pretty sure most people did. I'm like, is this Yoda? Is this a baby Yoda? What the hell is this at the end of the episode? And the iconic shot where like he puts his hand out and Baby Yoda puts his hand out, super duper emotional, and IG-11 gets killed. Mandalorian shows he got a little personable to him rather than just a guy behind a helmet. So very, very great episode. Way to start off this amazing, amazing show.
That first episode revived a lot of people's love for Star Wars.
Sure.
But getting into the top 2, coming in at number 2 for me is Chapter 7, The Reckoning. And the main reason that this episode is so high on my list is because of like the final 10 minutes. It's so intense when they're racing to get back to the ship on the speeders, and then the final shot when you see Quill is in fact dead, and I was like, my goodness, Star Wars actually killing off a main character? Crazy. And it really set up the stakes for that final episode, which we're going to talk about here in a second, but I absolutely love The Reckoning. And 7 and 8, fantastic duo of episodes.
Oh, fantastic. Number 2 for me is episode 3, The Sin.
Yeah.
Absolute perfection. All like the Mandalorians together fighting. It was just, that's like what you wanted. I wanted to see that again. I'm hoping we get another team up like that again in season 2, because that just like, it got me going so hard, dude. I was so gassed. I was so on, like, I was in love with the episode. Every time I think about it, I was like, man, I could use a couple more episodes like that. Super duper badass, action packed. I'm just a boring old Star Wars fan. You know, I just like action, bro. Who am I?
So coming in at number 1 for me, and I'm assuming we have the same number 1 so we can talk about it together, is Chapter 8, Redemption, the season 1 finale. What a brilliant episode of TV this is. And again, the stakes were very high. A lot of reveals happened in this episode. They're like trapped in the bunker to start this episode.
Yeah.
And that leads to some crazy action. And then there's a face reveal of Mandalorian.
I was about to say that. Yeah. We got to see Din Djarin, I believe his Mandalorian's name is. And we got to see Din Djarin's actual face. But, dude, the ultimate part of this episode is IG-11. The sacrifice that he gave. And Taika Waititi directed this episode. And I think he directs a couple episodes in season 2. It just shows how great Taika is. From all the creative directors doing this show, Taika's episode was easily the best. Went out with a bang. And IG-11, like, you felt bad for him. Like, dude, he's going to go. He walks through the lava, kills them all, sacrifices himself. And Taika Waititi, whenever he was in the episodes, he adds that comedic flair that we kind of want, at least I want in a show.
Going off that, there's some more iconic moments. You get to see Moff Gideon is alive and he has a dark saber, which harkens back to the Clone Wars. Mandalorian gets that jetpack finally, and he goes off with the child at the very end. into season 2. I love this episode. I'll say it's some of my favorite Star Wars content Disney's ever put out, but that's a completely different conversation for another time. I think that's going to do it for our ranking of all season 1 episodes of The Mandalorian. Hope you guys enjoyed. Trevor, I'm going to let you plug your channel and all your socials real quick before we get out of here.
You can find me on Film Geeks on YouTube, Trevor Sondrel on Instagram, and TrevSondrel1 on Twitter. Dude, thanks so much for having me on to do this. I'm so excited for season 2, and I'm sure we'll be talking season 2 together a couple times at least, because it's coming soon. Here we go. October 30th, man. Can't freaking wait.
For sure, man. I can't wait for season 2. Thank you so much for joining. Always glad to have you on and have discussions with you about anything, especially Star Wars. Definitely head over to Trevor's channel, Film Geeks, if you have not already, and subscribe to him. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Film Stock channel, definitely consider doing so. Hit the like button. Drop your ranking of the season 1 episodes of The Mandalorian in the comments down below. And how hyped are you for season 2? And just what are your thoughts on The Mandalorian in general? Do you have any hot takes? I'm all ears. But yeah, stay tuned for future live streams with this guy right here, Trevor. Content in general, collabs, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.